Or if you're constantly looking at things going, hey, I know where I could improve this and I have the capability of doing it, it's going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you excited. You're constantly able to improve things. And at the end of the day, if you continue to make those improvements, you're going to end up setting yourself apart from your competitors, which ultimately gives better customer experience, helps with your margins, everything else makes sense. So, it's great to be able to buy a business and then see what you could do immediately to improve upon it.
Yes, yes, that's the rewarding part aspect of it. I mean, obviously, when you're owning a business, you get the freedom, you get all those advantages of just owning than working for somebody else. And on top of it, if you're having the opportunity to grow the business organically, it's more difficult to grow it organically than just going and buying a business. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to give it a shot. You got to give the best you can to see how much you can grow. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I know during the transaction, it was fairly easy transaction for us to approve, but I believe during the process, you continued to kind of follow up and check on how they were doing year to date, how the inventory was going, all of that. I believe there was a couple minor changes that you may have had during the process, but you ended up, getting a fair amount, multiple for you, closed on the transaction. Wasn't too difficult, but you definitely took your time and did your due diligence and everything. Once you took over, and I looked this up as well, it was kind of interesting. You closed almost exactly 1 year from the day that you and I first started talking to. So it took you about a year to find it, which is actually fairly quick. A lot of people that are searching for a business end up taking 2-3 years to be completely done. So I think you did a good job really making sure you understood what you were buying, made sure the transaction was fair for everybody, and you put yourself in a really good position that once you took over to buy the business, you'd be ready to go. So you were able to get the transaction done. What happened from there?
Just to give a quick background there, it took almost like 6 months for me to find that business, and then almost 6 months to close, almost five to 6 months to close. It was a little
Mm-hmm.
long time to close. I have heard that you should be able to close it in 3 months, 4 months, and stuff like that. I
Mm-hmm.
think you can do it, but in my case, for various reasons, it took a little longer, almost five months to close, I believe. But as you near the closing time, there are a couple of things that you want to be aware of to make sure that the things don't fall apart. So the three things, at least for me in this particular business, that I was concerned about was three things. One was the relationship with the vendors, because to be frank, I did not expect there was a lot of vendors when I went into LOI. I thought there were like 3 or 4 vendors who will be, working with them, and that's primarily it, and I can just go. But even after LOI, I thought it was like 10 vendors. And then as the months closer to the closing, more and more vendors are coming out. And then almost like 20, 25 vendors, 30 vendors, 35 vendors at some point. But many of those vendors are all small. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we don't do a lot of business with them. But there are a few vendors who are really, really big. So I was a little bit worried as I was coming close to that timeline. Was worried, how am I going to handle all these vendors? Because I was just thinking 3 or 4, especially with an asset sale. Now I have to go back and then talk with all these vendors and then change the name. So that was a little bit of a worry for new agreements and stuff like that, which is a little bit of a which was a little bit of a worry for me. But at that point, it was actually too late for me to change it to a stock sale too, because I already moved into the asset sale, and then it was now at that point it was a little bit of a too late. So I just went with the asset sale, and it turned out to be all right. So I was able to slowly change all and the seller was very cooperative. Seller was very understanding of this whole thing, and he helped me out in transitioning out. So that is the reason why I'm telling you, a good relationship with the seller makes a lot of difference.